if you are the only person in any area of your business that can do that thing, you simply do not have a safe business. I grew up being taught that I could literally achieve anything, and I was stupid enough to fucking believe that. And I've spent my entire life with like this unsatiable belief in myself, this dreamer that can think of literally flying to the stars and the moon one day, right? And I absolutely believe that I will do that.
Cosmic Money, the podcast. The strategy and energetics of seven-figure business.
Hello, gorgeous beings. Welcome to today's podcast. I'm super excited to be bringing you this one here at Cosmic Money, mostly because I think it's actually really important. Something I try to do, in my business with my clients and things like that is, and even out there actually in the public space as well. Like we are constantly, adding value adding content, running masterclasses, challenges, supporting, scaling people, all of this, we often do for free. So if you're not on my social media, make sure you get over there because there is so much value. Anyway, one of the things that we do, or rather two of the things that we do to support everyone in every way we possibly can, is to not only highlight the amazing secrets to hugely successful, scalable, seven-figure, healthy business, but I also want to highlight either some of the mistakes that I see so that you can actually take those mistakes, learn from them, and not have to make them yourself. So today's podcast really is actually about highlighting the 7 deadly sins that I see so many businesses make on their, on the track to scaling and growing a really healthy, successful, long-term 7-figure business. All right. So 7, all right, we've got 7 deadly sins today. The first one I want to highlight is trading one-on-one time for money. All right. I'm really big on future-proofing business. If you haven't heard me bang on about that, by now, let me just highlight something. A few years ago, again, many of you know that I have MS. It's fairly non-problematic. Thank, the universe and my good work that I looking after myself very well, that it isn't, too troublesome for me. But a few years ago, I was actually very sick, and I was very sick for an extended period of time. I was sick for about 3 months, and it probably took me another 3 months on top of that, so 6 months total, to actually, get better, really. And so during that time, it was only because I have understood the principles of healthy, scalable, successful 7-figure business, because I've understood those principles, because I teach those principles. But at the end of the day, because I live and breathe those principles within my own business, was how I was able to step away for, a moment of time to actually just simply look after my own best health. We call this future proofing. All right. And so a secret to long-term successful business, as I know we've discussed, is absolutely future proofing. But the symptom, or how this could be showing up within your business right now, meaning that we know you have an unsafe business, is you are trading too much one-on-one time for money. Not only is that not scalable because you only have a certain amount of hours in any one day, not only is that not scalable because you are only charging X number of dollars for any particular single hour, so it's not leveraged time anyway, but it's not scalable because long term, if you are the only person in any area of your business that can do that thing, you simply do not have a safe business. I do not, and this isn't yay me, practice what we preach though, right? I do not have a single area of my business that is not protected by redundancies, by backups on backups. All right. And what that might look like is things like, ensuring that you have team. Okay. And same as me, I had to start, I had to start at the very beginning, right? If you've listened to my most recent podcast in relation to 7-figure team, then, that podcast is literally with my operations manager, Ivy, who started as my VA. But because we have built this amazing business together, because I have created, integrity and innovation and capacity and really brought her in on all aspects, right? Over the years, that is why now I can absolutely take guilt-free time off work and know that my business is safe, that there is somebody else there, holding the fort together, even if I'm down and out for the count. All righty. Not only that, but, again, I obviously run, high ticket offers, sales mentoring and things along those coaching programs, mentorships. And so I have other coaches, right? That I've been able to bring on board. I also have sales team, which means even now we can bring in new dollars into our business, even if, it's not reliant on me and my energy and effort all of the time. And to be honest with you, that was the final, piece to the puzzle, was ensuring that even our sales system is safe without me in it. All right. So this is stuff, let me just say, I'm not here to shame anyone by any means. You simply have to start at the very beginning. Okay. And so the very beginning is understanding that simple business is scalable business, that you want to have backups on backups for all areas of your business, but that actually still takes time. And that's okay. As long as you start kind of thinking about it now, and you start to implement structures and systems and support and, and scalability, right? That stops you from hitting an income ceiling, an energy ceiling, a time ceiling, and it just simply having, leaky buckets everywhere. All right. So the first deadly sin that sets you up for potentially a runaway freight train of a business is if you are trading one-on-one time for money, if that is your main source of income / revenue, right? And or, the extension of that is if any one area of your business is completely reliant on any one person. We have backups on backups. That means that if I'm down and out, somebody else can do portions of my job. Everything is protected. If that person is down and out for the count as well, backups on backups. There is somebody else who can actually, in fact, step in. Let me actually just add one more piece. I'm going to jump ahead. I'm going to give you number 4, which we'll just call number 2. Now, number 4 is, the 7 of the 7 deadly sins. All right, we'll just go with number 2. Number 2, 7 deadly sin, is not having a mentor. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bang on about this because I've simply sat here. Again, I'm obviously a mentor, so it just sounds like I'm here for trying to sell my services or something. It's not that. One of the redundancies that I have been so lucky to have within my business over the years is, in fact, when I have been down and out for the count, or something's come up or something's happened, or, whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be with you. It could be somebody, it could just be you want to have a holiday. Don't you want to have a holiday sometimes? Guilt-free time off. So I've been very lucky over the years, when anything like that has happened, that my mentors have always been more than happy to jump in and take control of something. They've been able to teach a masterclass or a lesson. They've been able to have a client conversation. They've been able to support in some way, so that my business keeps on rolling and keeps on running, even when, is going on. All right. And so, point number 1 is stop trading one-on-one time for money, making sure that you're future-proofing, that you have backups on backups. Point number 2 of the 7 deadly sins is not having a mentor. Now, there is a difference in having a mentor, and there is a difference in having a fucking mentor, right? So I personally, because I believe in reciprocity, I believe in giving back, and I know how lucky I have been to have mentors that I could rely on and reach out to and say, I am not okay and I need your help. and they have jumped in, with no questions asked. And so my clients, it literally gives me goosebumps, you guys, because I know my clients know that I will absolutely be that person for them. If they are ever stuck, like I've had a client have a hysterectomy, and I took on board coaching, like masterclasses for, the best part of 8 weeks. Every single week I jumped in and did that to keep her main program running while she was unwell, right? So, if the deadly sin is not having a mentor, right? Like the solution or the salve, right, is also ensuring that you have a fuck yes next level mentor, right? Because there is a difference in a mentor and a mentor. And if, a true mentor is on the journey with you, is absolutely bought into your dream as much as you are. And as I said, I have been very lucky to have come across some most amazing people. Some of them have been our guests here. Some of them are still coming to be our guests in the future, right? And the same for me. That reciprocity, I will always jump in if a client needs, with this kind of thing, because, what goes around comes around, and we're all in this together, you guys, right? Like, I just truly don't believe in competition. I think that there is enough success out there for you, and there is enough success out there for me. So why wouldn't, for me personally, why wouldn't I want to, help support my clients when they're my bloody clients, to achieve their goals, even when they're down and out for the count or something like that. So backups on backups, and making sure that you get yourself a fuck yes next level mentor, not just a mentor. All right. Now, number 3, all the numbers are all over the place now. We're out of control. All right. We only got to 1 before we've just blown the whole thing up, which is really quite funny, because when you hear about what number 7 is, I left number 7 to be my favorite and probably the 7 deadly sin I see the most, that I think is the most important to be aware of so that you don't make this mistake in business. All right. And it's so funny because it's probably really tied into how we've just blown everything up here today. So number 3 is stop doing it all by yourself. So sure, we talked about mentors, blah, blah, like I could bang on about that every single day, right? Especially if you're a coach, but really if you're in any business, like learn from the mistakes of others, you're listening to this now, and collapse time and space by learning from other people who have gone on the journey before you. It's that simple, right? Success leaves clues. Now, when we're talking about point number 3, which is, you don't have to do it or stop doing it all by yourself. All right. As soon as you are able, you need to bring on, at a bare minimum, a team member, like a virtual assistant or something like that. Somebody you can bring in for, like X amount of time, that is going to help support your business, scale and grow, and take tasks off your hand that is simply not the best use of your time. So you can pay attention to the things that are absolutely, the most important use of your time to be able to scale and grow. All right. This is leveraged, this is bang for your buck. Like, sure, it's going to cost you, a little bit in the front end. Sure, you may have to do it sooner than you are ready. And sure, it is then a bit of a scary moment where you become responsible for not only you and your paycheck and the success of the business for you, but now actually growing an ecosystem and thinking more operationally, organizationally, CEO hat on. All right. But it's a deadly sin that will have you stuck for far longer than you should be. And I'm talking again, like energy ceiling, time ceiling, income ceiling, is not bringing on help. All right. So do not make that mistake. The next, number 4 of our deadly sins today is you're winging it, not working it. All right. It's time to stop winging it. You need to have a plan. All right. You need to, understand your figures, right? Again, regardless of whatever kind of business you're in, you need to understand, like, what are my monthly targets? How much do I want to sell? Like, even front stacking your month, so you get more sales in the front end, so you know that you're safe coming into the end. Or if you're not, you can obviously make up time, energy, and effort. Awesome. But winging it, just thinking, and let me look, sometimes we speak very strategically here, and sometimes we speak very energetically. All right. Strategically, you know, you need a plan, right? Like, how are you going to reverse engineer a plan, like from a vision? Like, if it's all just vision, all right, like that, we need goalposts in place so you know whether you're achieving or not. All right. Now, if we talk about this a little bit energetically, what I see sometimes show up out there, again, I probably work with like a lot of very energetic spiritual businesses. We're here doing cosmic money. It really is that balance between the strategy and the energetics. If I personally swing my pendulum more towards the strategy, my default is 60% strategy, or if something's about to blow up, or I'm like, oh my god, craziness is going on, I'm more likely to swing towards the strategic side of things. Other people, including some of our amazing guests like Natalie Patterson and things like that, swing more towards the energetics. In times things, shit hits the fan, right? Like she, and other spiritual businesses and things like that are going to swing the pendulum, towards the energetics. What can I do energetically to obviously call in that next level, or more clients, cash, courage, codes, whatever the case may be?
I've spent my life obsessed with the strategy and energetics of seven-figure business. I've literally traveled the world trying to crack the code. And what I've found is that when you couple the pursuit of making massive amounts of money with the strategy and science of success, plus having a desire for significant impact and contribution, magic happens. That's why I created a free 21-day Next Level Vortex Money Mission Magic. Hell yes to that. This 21-day Quantum Business Challenge is here to shift you into new timelines and realities. 21 days to quantum shift your impact, business, and your bank account. These carefully crafted and channeled tools are the exact things I've used to create a life beyond my wildest dreams, and I'm not done yet. If you're ready for incredible transformation now in all areas of your life, more money and financial freedom, freedom of time, freedom of lifestyle, freedom of choice, better, more connected relationships, greater levels of health, and simply calling in more magic into every single day, then these 21 days are going to blow your mind. 21 days of powerful universal, behavioral, and strategic tools to quantum shift your internal state so that you start to see massive changes in your external reality, bringing the metaphysical into the physical. Join the challenge now and get ready for the most powerful 21-day expansion to quantum shift your impact, business, bank account, and your life. Cosmic Money, the podcast, the strategy and energetics of seven-figure business.
Now, where I see this go wrong is if you are highly energetic and not very strategic, and almost hoping that the universe will simply put the appropriate clients or dollars or the most aligned thing in front of you. And so you don't go out there and find opportunity, or you take safe action without actually pushing your own edges and barriers and boundaries and all those different things, right? If we are too all up in our visionary, and I love the visionary, like I thank God that I am such a huge dreamer, because that is probably the thing that has saved me from, like masculine strategic, like, doing all over myself, action taking hustle mode, is the fact that I'm a true dreamer. I believe that, I grew up being taught that, I could literally achieve anything. And I was stupid enough to fucking believe that. And I've spent my entire life with like this unsatiable belief in myself, this dreamer that can think of literally flying to the stars and the moon one day, right? And I absolutely believe that I will do that. going into outer space. Like what more is there than that? I don't know just yet, but I'm sure one day I'll think about it. And it's so amazing to be a visionary, to be a dreamer, to paint the picture, to live in the energetics. But if we are not grounding that in strategic intention and actionality, if we are just winging it, or if we are simply wishing and hoping that the universe is just going to, dump the clients in front of us and we don't even have to do anything, womp womp, all right? You're not going to have a very successful business, right? We've got to play the 3D game as well. It's that simple, right? 5D being, and look, to be honest with you, we're probably more than a 5D being, really, but we can only fathom ourselves at 5D level right now. 5D being here for the full 3D human experience. All right. It is the strategy and the energy and the strategy, both portions to play. So, 7 deadly sins, right? Like deadly sin number 4 is you need to stop winging it and you need to start fucking working it and getting, real about building a healthy long-term business ecosystem. Alrighty. Number 5 is is what I call mass numbers models. All right. I do not like the idea of hustling for low dollar clients. Now, again, you could be a coach, you could be an agency, you could be an e-commerce store, whatever the case may be, right? It's generally better if you can build a business based on what is called monthly reoccurring revenue. Now, let me give like a strange example, right, for this, because some people simply believe that. Don't mind me. Now, let me give a strange example of this because some people simply believe that, that their business isn't set up to have some kind of monthly reoccurring revenue. But look at something like Microsoft as an example. Remember, who's old enough like me back in the day where you would, get a new computer and, and Microsoft, Word and all those different things wasn't on there. And so you would have to go to wherever we would go, like a computer store or JB Hi-Fi or something like that. And you would buy literally a disc and you would put the disc in the computer. It was the Microsoft suite, and you bought it once and then, you used it once on that computer and it was then all uploaded. Well, even Microsoft, understood that there was a better way of doing things because really the lifetime value of a computer, many people have their computers these days like 5 or 10 years, probably closer to 5 these years. Back then it would have been closer to 10, but now, the marketplace is so fast paced and there's so many advancements and updates and things like that, that having your computer for about 5 years is probably the average, I would say. So how can something like Microsoft that you just buy once, turn into something that now actually creates monthly reoccurring revenue at a far greater amount? Well, they change their memberships, right, from a single purchase item to now a subscription-based item.
Gorgeous being. It is truly my honor to have you here joining me on this co-created adventure through the strategy and energetics of 7-figure business. However it is that you landed here, whether we know each other personally or professionally, whether a friend shared this podcast with you as they thought you might get something out of it, or whether you stumbled across me by sheer accident or divine intervention, I want to thank you for being here and I want to ask you a little favor. It is my joy to do what it is that I do every single day. And so if you have received anything here, a piece of magic, a strategy, a mindset shift, something that has transformed you in some way, I ask that you share this podcast with others so that together we can transform the world for the better. One business, one human, one frequency, and one podcast at a time. Cosmic Money, the podcast. The strategy and energetics of 7-figure business.
All right. And so in that regard, they've literally just 5x'd their income on that one person. Okay. So for me and my business, coaching coaches, right? The word coach, we teach 7-figure business mentoring. 7-figure business modeling, which literally gives you the capacity to have monthly reoccurring revenue, evergreen programs, and long-term stackable wealth. I don't want you hustling, for low dollar clients, right, who expect an arm and a leg and your firstborn child and all those different kinds of things, all right? So you need to have a portion of your business, regardless of what sort of business that you're in, that is based on monthly reoccurring revenue, subscription, membership, or a long-term mentorship program. All right. And pretty much all businesses in one way, shape, or form can actually, choose one of those things and be able to insert that into their business literally right now. All right. So number 5 of our deadly sins is, like utilizing something that is either a low ticket model, a mass number model, which means that you have to sell a lot of the thing to even be able to make ends meet. I don't believe in that either. All right. And changing to more like 7-figure business modeling, or, like a membership at a higher dollar membership, or subscription model, something along those lines. Deadly sin number 6 from our 7 deadly sins is trying to be everything to everyone. All right. And look, to be honest with you, this is another one that if you've been, staying up to date with my podcast, you've heard me bang on about this. I think we already have at least 2 episodes where I am simply sitting there saying, you need to niche down, niche, right? Like, niche 2.0, anti-anxiety luxury dog beds, right? Like, was one of the examples. It's so important that you understand that you are not here for everyone. And the sooner that you can, niche down, as we've said before, you become more of a go-to expert in that field. All right. And it doesn't matter. You could be a consultant, you could be a coach, you could be an agency owner, you could be e-commerce, But if you are able to, message and market to a specific thing, you are actually going to grow and scale faster. All right. And the examples I give are these 2 things. The first one, which I believe I've said to you guys before, you could go to the GP, the general practitioner, right? But when do you go to the GP? You go to them when you've got something, a little bit of a niggle, nothing that's too important, really, something you could probably fix yourself, come one, come all. Like that is the general practitioner, right? That is being a generalist. Then there is being a specialist. And a specialist you go to when you really need, some kind of dedicated support and help and, all that kind of stuff. Somebody who has studied longer, somebody who is an expert in their field, regardless of what the field is. I don't care if you sell, gym tights or something like that. Awesome. So be the go-to expert in, gym tights, maybe even less broadly than activewear, right? Or be, even more targeted in the broad activewear. Like who is that broad activewear, for? All right. So be the specialist, because let me tell you, you can charge more and you are probably going to call in even more ideal clients at an even higher rate. Crazy, right? Because you are the specialist, not the general practitioner. Now, the last thing that I want to say in relation to this today is something that I know we actually didn't fully cover, within our previous niching podcasts. All right. If you haven't listened to those, obviously, I highly recommend go back, take a listen. There's so much juiciness there, so that you can actually workshop your business and get the specificity that is going to help you scale and grow. So the last little piece of advice I want to talk about today in relation to this deadly sin, being everyone to everybody, come one, come all, is, an amazing saying I was recently reminded of, which is one offer, one message, $1 million. One offer, one message, $1 million. All right. And again, it really brings home, the idea of niching, having a particular offer, becoming the go-to expert in your field for whatever that thing is, which then means you can go out there to the marketplace and bring that fucking puppy home day in, day out, talking very specifically and strategically to that market. One offer, one message to the marketplace that is clear and strong equals $1 million. All right. again, being everything to everybody, it is going to create a lukewarm brand, and you simply don't want that. Now, the last thing today, as I said to you, that I think is probably the most important, and I very much say this one from experience myself. The seventh of the seven deadly sins is certainty versus variety. Certainty versus variety. Now, I'm somebody in life and in business. I love variety. I love change energy. I love, creation energy as well. I love transformation. I love difference. I love, all of these different amazing, movementy based things. The problem that I started to come up against in my own business many years ago, I had to learn this lesson the hard way myself. And the mistake that I made was that I kept fucking blowing things up, because I would channel that need for variety, that need for difference, that need for uncertainty, into some of my main offerings. So instead of having, one offering, one message, $1 million, I'd be like, oh my God, we could also do this. And here's this other thing. And now let's, blow that up and let's change this other, and I would go crazy, right? Changing and adapting things, because I have a human need for variability. And so once I actually understood that was the symptom, that was the deadly sin that was showing up in my business, I learned to, one, not wrong the fact that I am somebody who likes variety. I am someone who, wants to help a lot of people. I am somebody who enjoys change and difference and creation. Instead of wronging that portion of me, I learned to actually channel it into particular areas of my business, while making sure that I had certainty and safety and security in other areas of my business. You cannot scale and grow a hugely successful, wildly profitable business that is soul aligned and sells itself if you are fucking blowing shit up all of the time. And that's what I was doing. I was constantly changing the benchmarks. One offer, one message, $1 million. And when I learned that lesson, when I learned that there were particular areas of my business that required me to have certainty, to keep the same, to bring home the messaging again and again and again, to rinse and repeat and get more refined and better across time and space, then I was able to create a multi-6 and 7-figure business that is wildly profitable, soul aligned, and sells itself these days, right? So take that on board. Feel into that for yourself as well. Are you somebody who is blowing things up? And sometimes, to be honest with you as well, let's actually have the conversation on the flip side. Some people are so adverse to change, right, that they are keeping things the same, for far too long. And really, if I was going to add, 7.5 deadly sin, it's that. All right. You actually need to understand that there is balance. You want certainty around your financial future. I imagine that is an area we don't want to blow up or fuck with, right? You want there to be structure and framework to your foundational core offerings. All right. Again, this is an area we want certainty in, but you also need to, channel that creation energy and feel into the marketplace, the time of year, landing with your soul clients and the conversations that are going on in their mind. Like, you need to grow and adapt, because if you're not growing, you're dying. Okay. So yes, blowing things up and wanting too much creation and variability and changing things all the time and stuff like that, you might be doing that by accident. You might not even be, deliberately changing things all the time. It may just be happening because you simply strategically do not know what else to do, right? So you need to get some help and support, right? So that you can have the certainty in the areas that your business needs certainty in, and you can have variety in the areas that don't. But on the flip side, as we just said, 7.5 is making sure that you don't have too much certainty, that you aren't being so rigid, because if you aren't growing and changing and adapting across time and space, you are dying, and therefore your business is too. And I want you to have a fuck yes, next level, hugely successful 7-figure business within the next couple of years, right? And you can absolutely do that. So that's it from for today. Let me know which of the 7 deadly sins, relates to you most. Again, I feel as if I learned so many of these, by default in my own journey, myself, right? So I wanted to put these here for you because, yes, I think it's, important for us to understand the secrets to scalability and growth, to understand the strategies and things like that. But it is also equally as important to understand how some of these mistakes could be showing up in your business, right now, and the symptomology of what to look out for to ensure that you are not making one of these 7 deadly sins.